few people know how bad it was. The decade of death is what I call it. Cursed 1860s. Imperial countries fighting each other, taking over helpless nations, murdering and massacring their own people. The British Empire and their Bhutan War. 5 months fighting a nation with no military. Men using flintlocks, pikes, and chainmail against a modern army. The Paraguayan War. The Triple Alliance coming in and slaughtering 400,000. Better than 2/3 of the country's men. Gone, just dead. New Zealand. Again, the Brits overwhelming the native people, killing thousands, but the Maori got in a few licks of their own. Took out 800 of the imperialist buggers. But most notable to me, the Civil War in our great United States. I can only imagine the scorn from our founding fathers as they watched us tear apart what they had died to put together. I was fighting as a man from the North. Frank, they called me. I'd seen action in Manassas, Yorktown, Williamsburg, and then lowered back to Manassas. I hated the killing, so mostly I was a nurse, or a mail carrier, or a spy. But from time and again, I did take a life. In the months following the Battle of Fredericksburg, I came down with malaria and left the army. Couldn't stand the politics or the killing for killing's sake. Also, I was afraid they'd figure out I wasn't a man if they treated my sickness. It was after my desertion that I met him. I could tell by just looking at him that he was brilliant, yet tortured. He stumbled out of town in blood-soaked clothes lost. He took one look at me in my Union garb and knew I was alive. I fooled everyone else with my disguise. Not this man. His cold stare looked right through me. When I asked him his name, he wept. Strange response for a man of the time. He looked into my eyes and told me he had no identity. Nemo, he called himself. And then he laughed. I thought he was mad, going from crying to laughing like that. I didn't get his joke. He and I became friends, at first out of necessity and then out of respect. Nemo took care of me. He got me well again and began teaching me things, wonders of science and construction. He had this idea of sailing under the water and escaping the cruelty of man. He said to me,
"Are just 10 feet under the water and you're out of their grasp. Imagine it, Sarah. Just think of it."
Well, I didn't know what was in store for me, or for the rest of the world. But I knew I could trust this man. My captain, Captain Nemo.
Sarah, come and look at these plans.
Plans for what?
My coup de grace for the civilized world. With this machine, we could leave the land, go beneath the sea and protect ourselves from the barbarians.
Protect ourselves or enact our revenge?
Constructing a ship of such caliber will have to be done in secret, lest they discover us. We can have the keel forged in Crusoe, the screw in London, and the iron plates in Liverpool.
Nemo, what are you talking about? Your underwater sailing machine? What was it you called it?
A submarine.
Oh yeah, that. I suppose you could have the engine made by Crockett and Prussia.
Well, that's a fine idea. I should think I might.
The fortune that would cost! I wish your dream could be true, if only we had the money to escape.
If I have what is required to finance this venture, my friend, would you do it? Would you come with me? Swear your allegiance to me. Turn your back on the bloodthirsty world that we live in and embrace the oceans and all the wonders that they hold.
Nemo, you know I would. But how? And where would we get the money?
Let's just consider that we each hid from some things in our past. You hid from your gender, and I hid from my gentry.
Your gentry? It would take the riches of a prince to finance your escapade. You couldn't possibly have enough.
Are you with me or not? The part shall be made by the experts in the craft, but it will have to be assembled by only those loyal to our cause. We can have the pieces shipped to a desert island, and there, our crew will put it together.
Our crew? Our cause? Nemo, what are you playing at? You and I are misfits living on the fringe of polite society, as they call it, in between the killing spree. What is this cause that you're ranting about?
Can't you see it? The death and destruction? The casual disdain for life that these men throw about, it's all about power to them. How can one man make his life easier by taking from another? How easy that taking is made by attacking those that can't defend themselves. Our cause is to find people like you and I and leave the vultures of war to destroy themselves. Our cause is to embrace the sea and all that she can give us. For we need nothing from the land, writhing with the maggots of the corpses that these fools have slain. And if they come for us, we show them who's king of the watery world.
Indeed.
If the opportunity presents itself, we take action to nudge their politics and war machine towards peace.
So back to the revenge thing again?
I don't kill lightly. I've had so much taken from myself, I don't wish to do the same to others. But I will not roll over and allow our crew, our followers, our family be taken from us.
What crew? What followers? What family?
Say that you're with me. We'll need to work together to find them, to train them, to become a family. I have much yet to show you, much about electricity that will make this enterprise possible. What do you say, Sarah? Are you with me?
I've learned a lot about you, Nemo. But it seems I have a great deal more to learn. I'm with you. Let's leave this gravelly existence behind and escape beneath the waves. So we did. We left the terrors of the land and assembled our crew. A dozen lost souls like ourselves that were more than glad to leave the wars behind. It was almost too easy to gather a group of sailors that were done with the corrupt world and willing to follow an inspiring captain like Nemo. We picked up John Mitchell from a Union boat where he was fighting to free the slaves, but didn't really believe that was why the North went to war. Ashley Eden. She was a Brit originally sent to broker peace with the Bhutanese. They refused, and the British invaded. Eden decided it was time to disappear for a while and break ties with an oppressive government that thought nothing of slaughtering helpless people. Sylvia Rojas. She was one of the lucky few to escape the Paraguay crisis. Her family decimated, Nemo gave her a reason to continue living in a newly empty world. The list continued. A full complement of men and women. We did amazing things on that desert island. Built a marvel of machinery and man and then set it to sea. What happened next would cement us to Nemo, but color all of our lives in the process.
Sir, it'll ship off our starboard bow.
What colors does it fly?
British, sir. She reads as the RMS Scotia. She's fast. Sailing around 14 knots.
We've done our best to stay out of the way of any vessels. There shouldn't be anyone in this part of the ocean. We're halfway to Mexico. What would a British ship be doing here? Can you see anything on the deck, Sylvia?
Yes, sir. She's loaded with cannon and men patrolling the deck of arms.
The French have an occupation going in Mexico right now.
Maybe the British are making a little extra money selling arms to the invaders.
All we ask is for the world to be at peace.
Sorry, sir.
Ashley, change our heading to intercept that vessel.
Aye, sir.
John, I'm going to need all of the speed that you built to that motor.
Yes, sir.
My friends, this is not the main purpose we built our ship for, but it is our destiny to force peace on the world by any means necessary.
Captain, what are you planning to do?
Those guns are intended to kill people defending their homes. I aim to ensure that they never get to their destination.
But that means murdering innocent sailors aboard that vessel.
Innocent? Innocent? Do you think that we can go up to them, pull alongside and say, ahoy there, throw your guns in the water and free yourselves from the heinous crimes you're about to commit? I think you and I both know what would happen then. No, the Nautilus is the hand of virtue that will slap these little boys in the face and show them right from wrong.
500 yards from closing, sir.
Good. Thank you, Miss Rojas. Please, brace for impact. Everyone, you best hold on to something. I believe we're going to slice through their hull like a sharp axe through rotten wood.
Captain, there will be no coming back from this.
There's nothing to come back to anyhow.
200 yards, sir. I can see the stern of their ship now.
Aim our hull just before the engine room on the starboard side. Right there, yes. That should reach several compartments and sink them most quickly.
Aye, sir.
What I ask of all of you isn't a blind faith in me, but a belief that we can change the world.
100 yards.
We'll awaken the world to a new force that will use its power to right the wrongs of their hollow, self-serving societies.
50 yards.
This is not this senseless killing, but a dismantling of their war machine.
We will follow you always, Captain.
20. 15.
Brace for impact! Forgive me, Cora.
Ah, mon ami, the 1860s. What a time for science and discovery and romance. Forbidden romance, scandalous romance, mostly one-sided romance. But we should start with the science. I am the devoted assistant and traveling companion of one Perret Aronnax, assistant professor at the Natural Museum of History in Paris. A mantle I bear with great pride, a calm, strong hand to back up my professor, quick to dispatch whatever command she has given. And oh, the wit and brilliance of her thoughts, strategies and desires, a beauty poised like no other, the perfect marriage of mind and loveliness. Why, every thought and extension of her persona fills our heart with such longing. Forbidden! It is forbidden. I'm concierge, and no one must know that my devotion to Dr. Aronnax extends beyond my duties. A scandal that would erupt. I just couldn't do that to my dear professor. So I watch and learn, and I follow her lead. I admire her devotion to knowledge and science from afar. Her mind, too beautiful to be distracted by the trappings of love. But again, science. My professor, an expert in ichthyology, had just returned from a fatiguing journey of scientific research in the Americas, specifically Nebraska. I was happy to be home in the States for a visit, but my professor was not an advocate and referred to it as the disagreeable territory of Nebraska. Now, I tried to reason with her that not all of the United States was exactly like Nebraska, but to no avail. She was single-minded in her quest to get a steamer in New York that would whisk us quickly back to Paris. On our arrival to the docks, we learned of some unpleasantness about a sea monster attacking a ship called the RMS Scotia. Although the ship had sustained heavy damage, she returned to Liverpool with only minor casualties due to the keen wit and fast actions of her captain and crew. The whole rotten side of the ship was stirring all manners of tales of sea monsters and the supernatural. My professor brought her logic to bear by writing a wonderful article identifying this creature as the common narwhal, unicorn of the sea, although acknowledging that this, in fact, was a narwhal of uncommon size. After the paper circulated her article with great acclaim, my professor was called upon by a captain of the United States for her advice and counsel.
Professor Aronnax, I presume?
Why, yes. And who might you be?
I'm Captain Farragut, captain of the United States Marine vessel the Abraham Lincoln. Professor, you are familiar with the happenings around Scotia and have written quite a treatise on the topic, am I correct?
You are correct. It was imperative to stop the Wild West abandonment of logical thought and scientific reasoning that was gripping our breast.
Why, yes, things were a little out of control for a while. Sea monster discussions coming from all directions.
So you see why I had to step in. I hope your United States government did not mind a French national getting involved. Are you here to scold me, Captain Farragut, and deport me back to the land whence I came?
Quite the contrary, Professor. The United States government has given me command of the Abraham Lincoln, a steamship filled with all the newest technologies, in an effort to go forward and collect this creature that has destroyed ships in our ocean.
Our oceans, now are they?
I was given leeway to purchase the finest arms, to outfit our vessel in the best possible manner, and to recruit the finest crew that has ever been assembled. That is where you come in, Professor.
Me?
I would like for you to join us as an expert in all things animal in the sea. I have read some of your works and I admire your breadth of knowledge. Having you on board our vessel would be a key piece in the puzzle of bringing this monster home.
My dear Captain, Conseil and I have just returned from the disagreeable territory of Nebraska. I am fatigued and quite ready to return to my home in Paris for a well-deserved holiday. by their very nature.
However, there's a great deal of science waiting to be uncovered here. Your narwhal of immense proportion is waiting to be discovered. It would be a shame if I had to offer the honor of cataloging this creature to another academic.
Well, I am best suited for
Do
the
this for me. Do not answer me now. Come to the docks in the morning, ready to sail if you change your mind. We will anchor at 9 o'clock.
My good captain.
No, do not answer me now. Please, sleep on it. Again, the ship's name is the Abraham Lincoln. I hope you can join us. I bid you good day, Mr. Concierge.
Concierge.
Yes, I know. The nerve of that American. Thinking she can just sweep in here with her influence and offer you the common job of identifying this creature. You have spent an exhausting trip in the wilderness and now must return to your homeland to register the samples in your museum. There is simply no way possible that you would indulge this brazen excuse for a naval officer and her fanciful ship. So, should I put a pair of trunks to sail on Abraham Lincoln?
Oh, Concierge, you know me so well.
Yes, ma'am. And when the narwhal is discovered, you shall give those Americans a piece of your mind.
Keep the faith, Concierge. We will be home soon. All roads lead to Europe.
Yes, ma'am.
Concierge, when will you use my name?
Ma'am?
Call me Pierrette instead of being ceremonious to a degree. We have been together for 10 years. Clearly, we are more friends and colleagues than employer and employee.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh well, someday you will see the logic in that, Concierge.
As you wish, ma'am. So we were off on a voyage across the sea to hunt the monster-sized narwhal. The Abraham Lincoln was a splendid craft, a frigate of great speed, capable of 18 knots. As we passed on the New York harbor, the force saluted us with the heaviest guns, and the Abraham Lincoln answered by hoisting her American colors 3 times, the 39 stars shining brightly in the sun of the day. By 8 bells, we had lost sight of the land which was the coast of America, and had forged into the dark waters of the Atlantic.
Come now, Mr. Land. The evidence has been reviewed and revisited, leaving nothing to doubt.
Well, my good captain, I have my reasons to be reserved on the topic.
Then what? What would have caused that type of damage in those type of holes?
I can see that you are invested in your quest. As a captain, if you do not believe in your aim, how can you expect your crew to believe it? And a crew in doubt of its mission after sailing from New York through the Atlantic to our current position in the Pacific? Why, that would be dangerous, I think.
It's been a few months, I agree, and the crew is restless. But nonetheless, I do believe in this creature. This narwhal the good professor described. Here she is now. Professor, may we have a moment?
Oh, I certainly can.
Professor Airnex, Mr. Land is bringing his considerable experience as the undisputed prince of harpooners.
Please, Captain, again you overpraise my accomplishments.
As it were, one of the most accomplished whale hunters of our day is bringing his knowledge and cunning to bear, proposing that we are on a fool's mission and that no creature could have destroyed ships that limp back to dock. What would you say to that, Professor?
I would ask Mr. Land if he had a particular reason for being so incredulous.
As a whaler, I have followed many a cetacean, harpooned a great number, and killed several. But however strong or well-armed they may have been, neither their tails nor their weapons could have even scratched the iron plates of a steamer.
But Mr. Land, they tell of ships that the teeth of the narwhal have pierced through and through.
Wooden ships, that is possible, although I've never seen it done myself. And until I see proof, I deny that whales, cetaceans, or sea unicorns could produce the impact that you describe.
Well then, consider this, my Canadian shipmate. If such a creature were to exist, a mammal belonging to the branch of vertebrata, of such size as could create the hole as seen in the RMS Scotia, with a horn of defense with such great penetrating power, it would likely figure through the strata lying many miles below the surface of the ocean. Such a creature would need to live at remote areas at the bottom of the sea to avoid detection by boats like ours, searching these past few months through the Pacific. Do you concede me this fact?
Aye, that would be reasonable, Professor, if they exist.
So, let's take that the pressure of the atmosphere we enjoy on the surface is equal to a column of water 32 feet high. Now, Mr. Land, as you dive below the surface, for every 32 feet in depth, your body experiences an increase in pressure of 1 atmosphere. or let's say 15 pounds per square inch. At 320 feet, you would experience 10 times this force. At 3,200 feet, 100 times. And at 32,000 feet, which is approximately 6 miles, your body would experience the force of 15,000 pounds per square inch on each square inch of your body, which I think you can agree is quite a force.
I dare say I have nothing that compares to that, Professor.
Now, picture a creature with a surface area of millions of square inches, tens of millions of pounds of force bearing down upon it in the deep, and the fact that its body can handle that compressive force. Now hurl that same creature at a ship and imagine the damage that would ensue.
Well, Professor, you've convinced me. If creatures lived on the bottom of the ocean, they could produce the impact that you described.
But Mr. Land, if creatures as such do not exist, then how do you explain the damage to the Scotia?
It's quite simple.
Captain, may we have a word?
You can speak freely here. What's on your mind, Dolphin?
Well, Captain, we've been to sea for months now with no sign of the creature the Professor and Mr. Land are debating. And well, your crew would like you to consider returning to port.
Returning without citing and killing that query.
Aye, Captain. This ain't the wild sea of Long John Silver's day. We ain't trying to make trouble, but we miss our families and the Southfield land beneath our feet. Now, we extend the length of our contract, and glad to do so under your authority, ma'am, but we ask you to consider return to port.
I understand, and I see the voyage from your perspective. Let's strike a bargain. Give me 3 more days. If we have not spotted the beast in 3 days' time, I will turn south and head for our home harbor, with the knowledge that all of the rumors and tales were just that, and that Scotia ran aground and her captain was just too proud a sailor to admit her mistakes.
That is fair, Captain. Aye, we will look with renewed vigor these next days. Thank you, Captain.
3 days. Only 3 days. I knew my professor was beside herself to think about abandoning this quest without successful completion. And she would never concede that the narwhal didn't exist. As the days drew on, it seemed as though we'd be heading home, when on the night of the last day, Ned's voice rang above us all.
Look! Out there! The very thing we've been searching for! Off our weather beam!
Captain, the devil is cutting through the water faster than a bird in the air.
Man the forecastle ground. Let's see if this devil beast can escape these new kind of cow bullets. Fire, we're ready. Let's bring this murderous creature some justice. Ned, when we wound you, you can grab your harpoon.
I believe you've got it, Captain!
It's turning and heading straight for us.
Hard to port. Slip around the side of the beastie.
Professor, we should go below deck.
Nonsense, Conseil. Not even this creature can hurt a warship. Hello? Hello? Is there anyone out there?
Ned!
Regina!
Help! Please! The professor! Oh, dang it! Come on! Come here! Come on! Oh, you're big boy! What happened? Did we aim at the beast? Where's the Abraham Lincoln?
I'm quite sure that we were thrown from the Lincoln when the creature struck. Saw the ship slowly receding into the night. There appeared to be fires breaking out above and below decks. I'm quite sure that they don't know that we are missing. When we chalked up to lost at sea with all the other poor souls thrown during the attack.
What of the beast? Were you able to harpoon it?
Well, of course, my dear man. Only, I know I didn't wound it.
Why?
When I threw my harpoon straight and true, I heard a loud metal clang, indicating to me that our beast was not a mammal as the professor described, but one of metal and man. Incidentally, you're sitting on the beast right now. Look closer. You can see the iron seams and rivets holding the ship together.
How can that be? Submarine? But those are only been small and unmanageable, powered by engines running on compressed air. Certainly not with such power that could take out a ship like the Abraham Lincoln.
Afraid so. She's moving. If she sails horizontal, we are fine, my friend. But if she submerges, we will have problems. Is your professor okay?
She's still unconscious.
She's sinking. Quick, scream, yell, bang, my dear man, else we won't survive. Let us in! Let us in! Monsters, open up! Open up!
Although I felt glad to be plucked from a slow death treading in the water, supporting my dear unconscious professor above me, I was not sure we had landed on firm standing. The men did not talk to us, but brandishing their knives, they shoved us along a short route to a room. A room I describe as just short of a cell. It was certainly made to contain undesirables, no windows, and the door was locked from the exterior, but at least it was out of the water. Ned and I steadied ourselves to be on the ready for whatever plan they had in store.
Confound it! Here are people who just came up from the Scotch for hospitality. We just missed being cannibals. I shouldn't be surprised, but I swear they shall not eat me without my protesting!
Mr. Land, try to remain calm. You're not making any sense right now. Do not cry out before you are hurt. You're not quite done for yet.
Pretty near at all events. Things look black. Happily, I still have my Bowie knife, and I can always see well enough to use that. The first of these pirates that lays a hand on me.
Why are you so excited? Where are we? And I can only see a shaft of light.
Hold on, Professor. You are awake. We are in the most grievous situation.
Seems as though we are not drowning at least.
Aye, but maybe better to battle with the cold waters and the sharks than to be rough handled by unknown pirates!
We do not know if they are pirates. Professor, after the Abraham Lincoln was attacked, you were thrown into the sea. I'm not sure when you lost consciousness. There was some luck that I heard Ned's voice yelling, and we landed on the deck of a vessel, which has subsequently swallowed us.
Consiel, were you thrown into the sea as well during the attack?
I was not, but being in my professor's service, I followed.
Faithful Consiel, you should have let me go.
I'd rather drown first.
Apparently. But at this time we are not drowned, nor are we free. Nor do we know what manner of ship this is, with its thick iron hulls and rivets and ever so forceful crew, steaming the oceans and killing sailors.
Which begs the question, why have they not killed us? Now there's someone. Mr. Land, please lower your... Hello. Have you saved us? We were on a vessel that appeared to strike something and throw us off into the water. Searching the seas for a creature we thought was mistakenly attacking ships. I am not of the military, nor are my two companions. We would be very happy to make your acquaintance.
Professor, perhaps they do not speak English.
My native tongue, perhaps. Bonjour, nous sommes connaissants pour votre art. Vous avez un nom que nous pouvons vous appeler?
Professor? If you would permit, I could try to speak to them in German, though not very well.
Please do, Conceal.
All right. Mein Name ist Conceal, das ist Ned Land und Professor Aronnax an der Universität für Naturgeschichte. Wir sind dankbar, uns sei bereit haben. Was euer Name?
Are they mute?
Calm yourself, Mr. Land.
Latin, then, if I
starve in this cold, dark cell?
Mr. Land, calm yourself. As I said before, they're not quite done yet.
We must not despair. Please, do me the favor and wait a little before forming an opinion about this crew and their ship.
My opinion is formed, and they are rascals.
Oh, good. And from what country?
The land of rogues!
Mr. Land, you'll have to show me the location of that on a map, because clearly it does not exist. Now, calm yourself before I have to do it for you. I admit, it is difficult to obtain their heritage, and ignorance to English, French, German, and Latin is puzzling. Therein lies the disadvantage of not knowing every language or not having a universal one.
What the bloody hell are you babbling about? We're stuck in an iron can, under the ocean, held captive by mute pirates, in a wheel of room with no windows, light, or food! I'll take that to box! Raise the leopard for freedom! How's our way out?
Be quiet, Mr. Land. And you, Professor, would you be so kind as to listen to me? Gentlemen, Mademoiselle, I speak English, French, German, and Latin equally well. I could therefore have answered you at our first interview, but I wish to know you first, and then to reflect.
Sure would have been nice if you
I
had...
know that chance has brought you before me, Mademoiselle Pierrette, Professor of Natural History at the Museum in Paris, entrusted with a scientific mission abroad, concierge or assistant, and Ned Land of Canadian origin, harpooner on board the frigate Abraham Lincoln of the Navy of the United States of America.
Seems you have us at the advantage. We're still in the dark. Who are you?
I've taken my time in your greeting and wish to weigh maturely what part to act towards you. I've hesitated. The most annoying circumstances have brought you into the presence of a man who has broken all ties with humanity. You've come to trouble my existence.
Unintentionally.
Unintentionally? Was it unintentional that the Abraham Lincoln was sailing in this part of the Pacific? Was it unintentional that at the sight of my vessel the ship began to chase? Was it unintentional that it fired its cannon at my vessel? And lastly, and quite most amusingly, was it unintentional that Mr. Land tried to harpoon my vessel with his spear?
Find that funny, do you?
Not at all, Mr. Land, for it allows me to treat you as prisoners on board my vessel, which you intentionally attacked.
Sir, you must know that in the world above, your ship was thought to be a sea monster, attacking ships and causing death and destruction. You would not fault the Abraham Lincoln for its mission to put such a beast down.
Professor, do you really believe that the captain of the Abraham Lincoln would have held a single shot knowing that this is a vessel created by man as opposed to one created by nature?
Well, we'll never know now will we?
So you understand, mademoiselle, I have the right to treat you as enemies. While I've taken my time in your greeting, nothing has obliged me to treat you with any hospitality.
You certainly haven't done that.
If I chose to separate myself from you, I could easily have you placed back on the top of my ship where you had found refuge, and simply sink beneath the waves, forgetting that you ever existed. Would that not be my right?
That would be the right of a savage, not a civilized man.
I'm not what you call a civilized man, Professor. I have broken with humanity for reasons which I alone have the right to appreciate. I do not, therefore, obey its laws, and I desire for you to never allude to them before me again.
Sir, we simply...
I have hesitated, but have taken pity in the way that every human being is allowed to reconcile grievances with their neighbors. You will remain on board my vessel since fate has cast you here. You will be free, but in exchange for this liberty I shall impose a single condition. Your word of honor to submit to it will suffice.
It
No
is
word of
difficult
honor.
to accept a condition that bears upon one's life without the details. So please speak, sir.
It is possible, for reasons unforeseen by me, that it may be necessary to confine you to your cabins for some hours, or some days, the case may be. As I desire to never use violence, I expect from you a passive obedience. In thus acting, I take all responsibility. I acquit you entirely, for I make it an impossibility for you to see what ought not to be seen. Do you accept this condition for your freedom on board my vessel?
We accept.
Oh, do we
Yes,
now?
we do. Well, we have one question in return, and only one.
That is,
What is your definition of this liberty to be free on board your vessel?
you will be free to travel and learn, and experience the wonders of my vessel in the sea. You'll be free to join us on our journey and participate as part of the crew.
Free in the same manner that a prisoner is free to pace the length of his cell, or the yard of his prison,
forever on board your vessel, then this is a condition to which we cannot agree.
To renounce that unendurable worldly yoke, which men believe to be liberty, is not as hard as you might think, Professor.
Never will we give our word of honor to not try to escape.
I'm not looking for your word of honor. You are prisoners of war. I keep you when I could plunge you into the murky depths. Professor, you've come to have knowledge of me which no one is intended to have, and within that I must protect myself and my crew. So in that vein, you must remain here or perish. Again, I hesitate in coming to this decision.
So you simply give us the choice between life and death.
Simply.
There is no answer required.
Now wait a
Let
minute
me
here.
tell you this. There is no foul honor that binds us to the master of this ship.
That is understood, Professor. Now, if you'll permit me to say, you'll not be sorry that fate has bound you to remain on board my vessel. Amongst my favorite books in my study is a work that you have published on the depths of the sea. I've often read it. You've done an admirable job in carrying out the research,
Why, thank you.
as well as your terrestrial science could allow. You do not know all and have not seen all, Professor. Let me say that you will not regret your time spent on board my vessel. You are going to visit a kingdom of marvels.
That may be, but it remains to be seen. Knowing the name of the man that is to show us these marvels might evade our skepticism. By what name do we call you, good sir?
I am nothing to you but Captain Nemo. You and your friends are nothing to me but passengers on board the Nautilus.
Nothing to you but what? Passengers? That is hardly what I call this situation. How do you expect us to just... Purette, I can't... Graziel?
Mr. Land, perhaps we wait and think on our situation to avoid getting water in our boots.
I would be advised to listen to your friends. Concierge, Mr. Lant. My associates will show you to your accommodations. Professor, if you'd be so kind as to accompany me, I'd like to show you some of the wonders that you're in store for seeing.
Now, I cannot permit the
No,
Professor
no, my
Knight.
dear friend. Please, I will be fine. Go with Mr. Land and make yourselves comfortable. Learn what you can about our situation. Captain, please adon.
Well then, Professor, I have a great deal to share with you. I hope you're a willing receptor of the information.
While my companions and I do share the desire to be free, there should be no question to that in anyone's mind. I am intrigued by what you offer, Captain. You said I did as well as terrestrial science would allow. I should think it is a great deal more complete than you let on, good sir.
The food that's had the misfortune of remaining uneaten. Would you sit and partake?
Not without my companions.
Oh, I assure you, they're being well provided for where Ashley and Sylvia are taking them. Please, sit. You must try the appetizer at least before we continue on in your tour of my vessel.
This looks delicious. It isn't often a professor is able to enjoy a green salad, but it must task her stores greatly to keep fresh vegetables on hand. Why, only the wealthiest enjoy such a treat.
Please, continue with your meal. The main course.
It appears to be a ragu of pork. And I might say that your chef is a skilled fellow. It is delicious.
You're correct in thinking that my chef is skilled in his art. However, I've sworn away all things terrestrial, including the food. The fresh greens you enjoy are from our farms on the bottom of the ocean. Sugar kelp, chlorella, and yucca delight your palates. If we have an opportunity, I'll take you to one of our gardens. As for the ragu of pork, it's actually prepared from dolphin's livers. And if you'd so indulge me, please, try the dessert.
It appears to be a strawberries and cream, although I'm guessing this is not the case.
Please, taste.
Well, now I am thinking it is strawberries and the finest cream. But no or yes.
You're correct in your thinking, Professor. It is not. The berries are a preserve of anemones. Cream made from milk furnished by the cetacean. Sugar from the great fucus of the North Sea.
Amazing. Do we like this always?
That we do, which is a fact that I hope might calm the wild beast in your friend Mr. Land. Now, not to hurry you, Professor, but we have a lot to see. Would you join me in a tour of my life's crowning accomplishment?
Oh, I would be glad to. And I have a great many questions. As we were not able to entirely view your vessel during our abrupt welcome, I have no concept of its size nor your crew's complement.
I will describe to you my ship, but my crew must remain a mystery. Again, I make it an impossibility for you to see what ought not to be seen. As for this room that we brought you into, yes, it's our version of a brig. Designed to confine the body and sparsely furnished to confine the mind. As for my vessel, please walk with me. Just around the corner, you'll find the heart and soul of my creation. Propels this 232-foot-long vessel through the ocean at speeds up to 25 knots. The Nautilus displaces 1,500 tons when fully submerged, which is accomplished by filling 2 reservoirs with water, bringing the ship's total weight to 1,507 tons, and we proceed to sink.
Captain, I understand how your rising to the surface would work, but for diving below the surface, would you not experience an increase in pressure of 1 atmosphere for every 32 feet in depth, and a thereby corresponding force sending you to the surface? I should hardly think bringing your ship's total weight to 1,507 tons would hardly be enough to account for the increase in water density.
Just so, madam.
Well then, unless you fill the entire volume of the Nautilus with water, how do you draw it down to great depths?
Professor, you must not confuse statics with dynamics. You shall be exposed to grave error. Now, if water is not absolutely incompressible, it is at least capable of a very slight compression. I merely need to keep count of the reduction of bulk and water pressure outside my vessel and match that same bulk reduction in my ballast tanks. I would then have tanks that hold 1,000 tons as opposed to 150.
A nice thought indeed, but how would you generate such a force?
There is a powerful agent, rapid, obedient, easy, which conforms to every use and reigns supreme on board my vessel. It lights, it heats, it moves. It is the soul of my mechanical apparatus. That agent is electricity.
Electricity? But the forces you've been able to generate in the rapid movement of your vessel hardly account for what we know of electricity. J.C. Maxwell just published his understanding of magnetism, electricity, and light, and the only thing he's been shown useful for is the electric telegraph.
Professor, my electricity is not everyone's. I generate it using the reservoirs I spoke of earlier. Please, indulge me. The water at the surface of the ocean is salty. Do you agree?
Why, yes. 3.5% by my recollection.
Would you be surprised to know that deep in the ocean there's a dramatic change in water temperature, a thermocline? And corresponding to the change in water temperature, there's a dramatic change in the salinity of water, a halocline, if you please. The water of the deep is less salty than its surface brethren.
That is fascinating, but I hardly see what it has to do with electricity.
Reverse electrodialysis. I charge my reservoirs on the surface with salt water and then dive to the depths, where, as we discussed, I must pull in more water to sink. Again, this salt water is less salty than the water on the surface. This apparatus places these 2 salt concentrations across membranes from one another. One membrane allows the chloride ion to pass from the concentrated brine to the brackish water. The other allows the sodium ion to pass in the same manner. This creates a Nernst potential across the cell pair, which causes an electrical current to flow through the lobe connected to the electrodes. Clean, efficient, and endless as the waters of the ocean.
My lord!
The electricity powers the engines, the pumps, the lights, inside and out. It is the marvel of my mechanical apparatus.
And the air you breathe, is there some feat of engineering that allows for that?
While we do have pumps and tanks which can hold pressurized gases pumped in via machinery using electricity, no, we must surface to refill our air supplies. The exact activity we were engaged in when your Abraham Lincoln spotted us on the surface. But enough of the corporeal. Let's explore the more spiritual aspects of the Nautilus. Amidships, for the engine room, you'll find our crew quarters. Ah, and there's your Mr. Land now, and it seems my hope of taming his inner beast through his stomach has been effective. Further on towards the bow.
Our captain showed the prisoner, for that is what she was, the balance of our home. The bridge, the galley, the room holding the ballast tanks, the air tanks, and finally the drawing room and navigation center.
The instruments in the hall that we just passed are the usual nautical fare, gyro compass, sextant, chronometer. With these instruments, I keep a watchful eye on the position and course of the Nautilus.
And was there not also a manometer?
Indeed there was, and by communication with the water, it gives us a reading on our depth. Here, Professor, is your volume, a bit worn as I've turned the pages several times.
I must admit, I didn't understand the captain's interest in these stowaways. How were they any different than the horde we were escaping from by voyaging under the waters, and yet he brought them on board? I think it was a fascination with the professor, a longing for companionship he would never let himself have in memory of his suggested we take a walk with them to where no terrestrial would tread.
This way, Professor. Conseil, Mr. Land. We must fit you for a walk to the gardens that I promised to show you. Excuse me for a moment. John will help fit your devices. Yes, Sarah?
Captain, we feel
Captain, we're concerned with the passengers. They are prisoners, not passengers. Exactly my point. We're concerned with the effect that they're having on the ship.
Sarah, is this what you wanted me for?
Captain, we mean no disrespect. Bringing them on board was one thing, but now you take them to the place where nature has given us amazing feats. If somehow they were able to escape, surely they would come back and kill us all we hold sacred.
Ashley, I understand your concerns.
Captain, they cannot be trusted.
Listen to me, all of you. I have no issues with showing them our secrets because they will not escape. But that charge is not mine alone. My directive is that if we see them fly and then executing a plan to leave, they are to be disposed of. If anyone threatens the harmony of our enterprise here under the waves, they will not be permitted to stay, and leaving means death. Sarah,
Yes, Captain.
this directive is for our guests.
Yes, sir.
And our crew.
Sir?
Any unprovoked action taken against our prisoners will be treated the same as their escape, and will be met with a dark and wet demise. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. Ashley, please return to your station at the helm. Sylvia, Sarah, you'll be joining me on the wall.
I see you're almost ready for your walk. You'll be taking our small boat to the gardens.
All right, you have a skiff?
Yes, and it's an excellent vessel.
But we are far underwater. How will we get to it?
The skiff is attached to the upper hull of the Nautilus, where it occupies a cavity made for it, and forced by solid bolts. You'll access it through this hatch right here. Doors close on both sides, the bolts release, and the skiff will ascend rapidly to the surface. Then the deck will retract, and you'll simply put up your sails, or oars, depending on the condition of the sea.
But how do you return to the Nautilus?
You don't. Your communication via electric wire. You'll telegraph when you're ready to leave.
Our means of escape, my friend.
Of these suits, an ingenious design. But I should like to understand it better before I trust our lives to them.
It's my opinion as well. I think I'd rather be dead than wear this gear. If the ever kind Mr. Mitchell let me know was certainly an option.
Well, the air is supplied by the packs, which is stored between thick iron plates at a pressure of 50 atmospheres. This one inhale will let your fresh air in, and your foul air will be expelled. The guns our crew will carry are also powered by air, and shoot small glass projectiles at their quarry.
A tiny glass ball is supposed to stop a fish or an eel? I hardly believe that.
The ball contains lead and a high-density electric charge. Upon contact, will hit their target with the force of a lightning bolt.
All the same, I'd rather carry a harpoon than trust my life to a little classy ball.
But I think your wishes shall be fulfilled. But for now, enough talk. Let us proceed to donning our helmets.
I must admit, I was not an ardent admirer of going outside of the Nautilus in these thin garments, but where the professor goes, Conseil must follow. I had been growing concerned with the time she was spending with Nemo, not out of jealousy, although there was a thought that occurred to me. Alas, the professor lives for science, and not men, made obvious by her eagerness to leave the vessel and walk on the ocean bottom. No, my concern lay in the unmentionable truth that Nemo was right about the men roaming the land, and that what he offered the professor was an escape into a world that could be matched by no other. When we dropped from the Nautilus' skiff, then, how can I retrace the impression left upon us by that walk over the waters? Words are impotent to relate such wonders. The weight of the heavy iron suit was all but forgotten as we floated in a line. Captain Nemo in front, his second following behind. The floor of the sea was smooth sand, devoid of the ripples you find at the beach where land and water meet. We walked along this smooth, silky bottom, passing variations of flora and fauna that even I, as an ardent naturalist, had trouble classifying. But if I could only share this enterprise with my dear professor, I was certain she was analyzing it with all her unmatched wit and vigor. The solar rays shone through the watery mass easily. I could clearly distinguish objects at a distance of 150 yards. Truly, this water that surrounded us was but another air denser than the terrestrial atmosphere, but almost as transparent. We passed many fish and wondrous creatures darting in and out of the lush foliage. Clusters of pure, tough coral, prickly fungi, and anemones formed a brilliant garden of flowers. Hoarding shells of mollusks and all imaginable species were strewn about such that there was no way to avoid treading upon them. I regretted the fact that we were crashing through such an ecosystem, but as Nemo led on, we must follow. Above our heads waved shoals of physallids, leaving their tentacles to float in their train. Medusae, whose umbrellas of opal or rose pink escaloped with a band of blue, sheltered us from the rays of the sun, and fiery pelagia, which in darkness would have strewn our path with phosphorescent light. Along the route, Nemo's men sampled various plants and filled sacks to restock the galley of the Nautilus. We marched on for what appeared to be hours, until we stopped at a wondrous grouping of oysters. Nemo approached a very large oyster. A pearl the size of a coconut was growing inside. Our instincts were to reach out and grasp a thing of such rare beauty, but Captain Nemo's intentions were clear as he quickly closed the oyster. The pearl was meant to grow, the Triathna adding concentric layers year after year. Suddenly, a shadow fell across us. Casting the shadow, a fisherman diving to procure oysters had maneuvered his boat directly above us. I was amazed at his ability to dive so far beneath the waves, but not sure why that alarmed Nemo and his crew. Then I saw it. The reason for Nemo's alarm. A giant shark with hunger in its gleaming eyes and decorated across its jagged teeth had just appeared from the murky abyss.
Terror and death. That's what can await an unexperienced traveler on the bottom of the ocean. And we were ripe with green travelers. I wanted to warn the captain of this foolish walk, obviously born out of what was becoming vanity in the presence of our so-called prisoners. And now, a very sizable danger had thrust itself upon us. Luckily, the beast appeared to be going after a local diver, and maybe would eat its fill and be off without noticing us. As the shark wrestled with the diver, it would have been prudent to turn and make for the ship, but Nemo, he was not about to let that poor diver be devoured. As the shark circled, I saw my captain steel his courage and take action. Adrenaline coursing, my heart pounding, such that I could hear the torrent of blood rushing through my veins. I was nailed to the spot in horror as I watched the battle unfold. Victory! Surely a death blow as the shark seemed to roar in defeat. And no, how had the monster survived such an impossible wound? The water turned red with the creature's blood. The disbelief. Why had this prisoner saved my captain? Suddenly I found myself facing a situation that pulled at the very threads of what was my reality. Could these travelers be more akin to our cause than a danger to it? The captain escorted the diver to his craft while we turned and made way for the Nautilus. Our sacks filled with a bounty of vegetables for the galley and a good bit of shark meat for the chef to turn into meals. I watched our prisoners stumble their way through the long avenue that we had taken, praying that no more predators found their way into our path. With luck, we arrived at the Nautilus without incident. Upon entering our home underneath the sea, the captain was forced into a rather odd conversation.
Mr. Land, I must thank you. It seems my gallantry was overmatched by that creature's will, and had it not been for you, I would have made for a tasty treat. Certain the beast wouldn't have minded the bristle.
Prisoner aboard your ship or no, it's not about to let a man intervening to save a helpless diver die at the hands of that carnivorous beast.
And for that, I thank you.
Captain, you've shown unwavering courage yourself, and a devotion to one of the race that made you flee beneath the sea. Whatever you might say, that has not succeeded entirely in crushing your heart.
Professor, if you were to look at our position on a map, you would see that that diver was an inhabitant of an oppressed nation. I am still, and I will be to my last breath, one of them.
Captain Nemo entertaining the professor, and me and the crew continuing our routine, as if this voyage had ever been routine. We sailed through the South Pacific and Indian Ocean, passing through the Arabian Tunnel and into the Mediterranean. It was there that we came across our destiny, to force these oppressors towards peace by showing them the error of their violence through the same.
Captain, we've entered the Mediterranean. There's an ironclad warrior ahead. Seems to be an HMS Warrior south.
Ashley, what is our speed and heading in relation to the Warrior?
We are running on the surface at 15 knots, bearing down on her aft outboard beam, sir.
Do we have a history on this boat?
Aye, sir. Nothing of great bloodshed. She seems to be in service in the Channel Squadron, escorting the Royal Yacht on voyages.
And is the Royal Yacht nearby?
Sadly not, sir.
That's a pity. We'll have to make do with their errand boy.
Sorry, sir.
Secure the Nautilus. We're going to dispatch some judgment, my friends. I must make a request of our guests. Sarah, you have the bridge. John, Vivian, accompany me in asking our guests to their cabins, and please bring what you need in case they resist.
Yes, sir.
Get an accurate reading on all gauges now.
Gentlemen, mademoiselle, I must enact that one request we spoke of on your entrance to my vessel. I expect you to follow obediently, as I've kept my side of the bargain, giving you freedom on this voyage. If you please, retire to your cabins for the next day, until I come and signal that it's clear.
Why are you making this request?
Professor, look out the porthole. Is that another ship?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. What are you playing at here, Nemo?
It was our understanding that you would honor my request without question. Now I ask again, will you retire to your cabin?
Not likely there, Captain. Why is it so important that we aren't present when there's another ship nearby?
Oh! Captain, why?
To your room, if you please. If you please. Professor, have a drink. I don't expect you to understand, Professor, but you should. The corrupt world beneath the waves is not subsiding. If left to its own devices, it will continue on. So we of the Nautilus choose to nudge the world towards pacification by using their own tactics against them.
Captain, I must admit I'm having a hard time following your logic. Captain, I'm having a hard time. What is happening to me? Why do I feel this way?
Be quiet in your slumber, Professor. It is best that you do not know this side of our struggle. Now, to dispense some justice. Miss Eden, lay in course for the Warrior. Set speed to maximum.
Aye, sir.
Sarah, communicate to the crew. Brace for impact.
Yes, sir. Attention all crew, brace for impact.
Bearing down the vessel, 100 yards.
Keep a ram level with the water's surface. We want a nice clean end to send the heretics to the bottom of the sea.
Sir, my records show that the crew complement of 706 sailors and officers on board the vessel.
706 fewer oppressors.
50 yards.
They appear to have spotted us, Captain.
No matter, it's too late.
They're firing cannon!
30 yards.
What have you done?
Show starts in 8 minutes. Yum, yum. It's time for a tasty and refreshing snack. promise to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, your sweet tooth. So visit our refreshment center now. Let's go!
Your attention, please. All new hotshot electric in-car heaters have been installed for your comfort and convenience. Just insert heater through car window and turn on the switch. When leaving, please turn switch off and replace on speaker post. Warning, high voltage. For your own safety, do not attempt to repair or remove wires. Do not attempt to open heater unit. If you need assistance, please notify the theater box office or concession manager.
Show starts in 1 minute.
Please remember to replace the speaker on the post when you leave the theater.
And now, on with the show.
You were not intended to see that. And had you honored our bargain, it would have remained hidden to you.
Hidden to me? That you're a monster? That you killed all of those men because you disagreed with their leaders' politics? That you murdered them in cold blood with no consideration for their families?
Are you a doctor, Madam Baroness?
A doctor? I think the men you attacked are beyond the help of a doctor now. Yes, I am a doctor, and I practiced several years before entering the museum. What does this have to do with your murderous spree?
We consented to strike one of my crew.
What do you... Is she ill?
If you please.
Who has done this?
Can you help her?
If I were back in France with all those skilled physicians, you could not offer her help. I would estimate she only has a short time to live.
I see. Thank you, Professor.
But what has done this, Captain? Are we in danger?
I'm sorry. No. No, the danger's been eliminated.
What kind of man are you? What did you do that caused the kind of damage that woman is afflicted with?
I'm a man with a history, Professor.
A history of killing. Don't think for one moment I don't know why you drugged me and had my companions taken to their quarters. There was a vessel on the horizon and you attacked it. Didn't you? Tell me!
Tell you what? That I use my influence to nudge the world away from the murderous rampage that it's on? That I'm a beacon for hope? A leveling force that will set the world straight?
You're a monster! What kind of sanity did you hope to maintain with all those murders on your hands? Who drove you away? Did you sink humanity?
Professor, there are some things that happen in this world. Some things beyond my control, and yours, which we must accept. When a loved one dies, we hope that it's of old age after a long life. We hope that parents don't outlive their children and go to their maker in a soft, comfortable bed surrounded by loved ones. But then there's the reality of the cold, harsh world. Cora! Gabe! Lead! I couldn't get them to stop! Where are you? We must leave, Cora! No. Oh. What have you done? Monsters! They were innocent! Stuck between sides in your war! What have you done? What have you done? What have I done?
Captain?
I've been given a very strict lesson on man's true nature, Professor. And I do not pay the mistaken ideology that progress is king, no matter the cost. Yes, I killed men, more than you can count. And I will keep killing to fill that burning hole in my soul that they scorched with a white, hot poker. That burning iron immovably lodged in my heart, in my mind. I see endless images pervading the forgive or the forget. And that woman dying in my sick bay, Sylvia. She believes the same as I and gladly gives her life to try to correct the world. So spare me your childish notions that the world is a place where thought and science rule. Spare me your noble intentions that through discussion we can all prosper together. You are a pawn, Professor, being led down a comfortable path that keeps making the rich richer. A path that places ever-increasing power in the hands of despots and men no sooner slit your throat and say hello to you if it benefited them. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have dying friends which I must say farewell.
Say we make our move at the next sight of land.
Mr. Lane, I do advise caution. But there's no doubt now, I must agree. Hello, Professor.
What are you two discussing?
And we must escape the Nautilus and this Captain Nemo at all costs.
I was advising caution.
I agree. We must leave with all haste.
You do?
It has become clear to me that our Captain Nemo has his civilized moments. But there is a rabid beast resting behind that facade. A beast we must become free of. And then help put down.
Finally, you're making some sense.
But one observation. Our first attempt must meet with success, or if it fails, we will never find another. Captain Nemo will never forgive us.
All that is true, but your observation applies equally to all attempts at flight, whether in 2 years' time or 2 days' time. Still, the direction is this. If a favorable opportunity presents itself, it must be seized.
Agreed. But what do you mean by a favorable opportunity?
It will be that which, on a dark night, puts the Nautilus a short distance away from some country along the European coast.
And you would save yourself by jumping from the boat and swimming?
Yes, if it required.
And what would you do if we were submerged at the time?
I should seek to make myself a master of his skiff. I know how it has worked. Once the bolts are withdrawn, we will rise quickly to the surface. Not even the pilot in the bow will perceive our flight.
Well then, Ned. Please, watch for the opportunity, but do not forget a hitch will ruin us.
I will not forget, Professor.
Still, I fear this opportunity we seek will never come. I feel like Captain Nemo cannot hide from himself that we haven't given up hope of returning to our homes. And as such, he will not give us this opportunity we crave. He knows it, and is strictly avoiding situations that might allow our escape.
We shall see.
For now, we should not discuss this topic any further until a suitable opportunity can be seized, or else we will be caught before we have begun. So we lived on in the Nautilus, looking for an opportunity to escape. I could tell my professor had changed her mind and felt the need to escape this vessel. But she was taking every moment to observe the world around us and complete what study she could. Captain Nemo became more and more recluse. only appearing to our group on the odd occasion and not speaking a great deal. This only fueled Ned's desire to escape the double ship. His opinion of the captain descending daily until we weren't sure if the fiery tint in his eyes was going to erupt into violence during one of Nemo's short visits. And so we went on in this manner, living a lie to conceal what everyone knew was the truth. Ned, becoming increasingly agitated and harsh until a tipping point was reached. A tipping point that started with a dive into mathematics and then quickly took the form of a pod of baleen whales.
Professor, a simple question for you.
Go ahead.
How many crew do you think are on board the Nautilus?
I cannot rightly tell, Ned.
I should say that its working does not require a great number.
Certainly under existing conditions, 10 should be enough to operate the vessel.
Why should there be any more?
Because, if I understand our Captain Nemo as I believe I do, the Nautilus is not only a vessel, but a refuge for those who have shunned the trust-free world as he has.
Perhaps so, but given the limited supplies of air and space, the Nautilus would only be able to support a certain number of people. Professor, can you calculate the number on board, given what we know?
How, Conseil?
Well, given the size of the vessel, the quantity of air it contains, how much a human expends in a breath, and comparing these figures to the fact that the Nautilus has to surface once every 24 hours to replenish its air supply.
I understand what you are driving at, but such a calculation only gave us an estimate, unbacked by any relevant facts.
Never mind.
Wait. No, here it is. In 1 hour, the average person consumes the amount of oxygen in 20 gallons of air. And 24 hours, that makes 480 gallons. The size of the Nautilus is 1,500 tons, and each ton holds 200 gallons, giving us a total of 300,000 gallons of air. You divide that by the 480 per man, that gives us an estimated number. 625 women and men aboard the Nautilus during her voyage.
625?
I doubt with all the passengers, sailors, and even us prisoners, we make up a tenth of that number.
Still, far too many for the three of us to handle.
Poor Ned is longing for everything he can't have. His past life is always present to him. Everything we are forbidden, he regrets. His head is full of old recollections, and we must understand him. What does he have to do here? Nothing. He has not learned like you and does not share the same taste for the beauties of the sea as you and I do. He would risk everything just to have one more chance to walk into a tavern in his native land.
I agree with you, but what can we do? Except for go and talk to our friend Ned, who's wandered off.
To the deck, ma'am.
Oh, well, let us join him then.
Good. Conseil, do you see it? The black back of that beast rolling just above the waves? If I were on board a whaler right now, such a sight would give me pleasure. See its strength? See the huge columns of steam and air erupting from its blowhole? It's no doubt a magnificent beast. Confound it! Why am I confined to these steel plates?
What, Ned? Have you not forgotten your old ways of fishing?
Can a fisherman ever forget his old trade? Ever tire of the emotions caused by a chase with such a magnificent beast? It's the life I've lived, and the tales told. I have heard of cetaceans, 150 feet long, that are so intelligent they lie in wait for their prey, disguising themselves as islands using seaweed and fucus. People think that they have found land, pitch tents, light a fire,
and build houses?
Yes, Joker. Until one fine day, the cetacean plunges, carrying all of its inhabitants with it to the bottom of the sea.
It's a bit like Sinbad's Saint.
It's not just one, but 10, no, 20, a whole troop of them. Me with my hands and feet tied.
Why don't you simply ask the captain if you can hunt him?
Why don't you simply ask me if you have hunt once?
The southern whales. There goes a whole fortune for an entire fleet of whalers.
And to hunt them for what purpose? We have no need for whale oil on board. You seek only to destroy. Trust me, the southern whale has enemies enough without the aggressions of you and your peers. We've already depopulated the whole of Boston Bay and are annihilating an entire class of useful animal. Leave the fortification alone.
Your mention of whales' enemy is timely, Captain. You see those blackish points out there, moving 8 miles leeward?
I do.
Those are cachalots. I've sometimes met them in troops of 200 to 300. Terrible creatures, 75 feet long and almost all of that mouth and teeth. They're a cruel and mysterious animal. There would be right of exterminating them.
Then let me offer my services, Captain, to you. Harpoon at the ready, in the interest of protecting the southern whales, of course.
Yes, you're as noble as the Queen of England ordering attacks on tribal peoples. No need for your bloodlust. The Nautilus is equipped with a steel spur as good or better than any harpoon. Will not put you or any of your people at risk.
There was just time to run to the rescue of the baleen whales. Soon we felt the beats of the propeller getting faster, and we picked up speed. The battle between cachalot and baleen whales had already begun when the Nautilus arrived. It maneuvered to cut into the herd of long-skulled, mouthy cachalots. At first, the aggressors showed little concern at the sight of this new monster meddling in the battle, but they soon had to sidestep the Nautilus's thrusts. What a struggle! Mr. Land quickly grew enthusiastic and even ended up applauding. Brandished in his captain's hands, the Nautilus was simply a fearsome harpoon. He hurled it at those fleshy masses and ran the cachalots clean through, leaving behind 2 squirming animal halves. As for those daunting strokes of their tails hitting our sides, the ship never felt them. No more than the collisions it caused. 1 cachalot exterminated. The Nautilus ran at another, tacked on the spot as so not to miss its prey, went ahead or astern, obeyed its rudder, dived when the cetacean sank to deeper strata, rose with it when it returned to the surface, struck it head-on or slantwise, hacked at it or tore it, and from every direction and at any speed, skewered it with its dreadful spur. What bloodshed! What a noise on the surface of the waves! What sharp hisses and snorts unique to these frightened animals! Their tails churned from normally peaceful strata into actual billows. This homerish slaughter dragged on for an hour, and the long-skulled predators couldn't get away. Several times, 10 or 12 of them teamed up, trying to crush the Nautilus with their sheer mass. Through the windows, you could see their enormous mouths paved with teeth, their fearsome eyes. Losing all self-control, Ned hurled threats and insults at them. Finally, as this mass of cachalots thinned out, we believed the chase to be over, but the captain had other ideas.
Captain, they're running for the depths!
Good, good. Now we must strike the final death blow and silence these oppressors for all time.
Captain, I believe the day is won. The Baleens are safe.
Safe! Not while the tyranny of those monsters still casts light on this world. Miss Eden, pursue those creatures with all the speed and destruction that this vessel can bear.
Aye, sir.
Captain, this is an unneeded expenditure of energy and supplies.
I will not allow those creatures to go to a silent goodnight after everything that they've done, and all the weeping fathers wanting their mothers and the crying children.
Captain.
After them!
Well, this is a dreadful sight for sure. I'm a hunter, not a butcher. This is just plain butchery.
It was a slaughter of destructive animals, according to the captain.
So I heard. But I prefer my harpoon over the butcher's knife that is the Nautilus.
These cachalots have returned to territory familiar to them. Perhaps their breeding grounds or... Look, over there, at the caverns at the side of the underwater cliffs. Those copper caverns with wolves, and I should not be surprised to see some of those leviathans hereabouts. It's a rich feeding ground for the cachalot.
What? Cuttlefish? Real cuttlefish? Of the cephalopoda class?
No, devilfish of huge dimension.
You're dreaming of abominable sea monsters again. I don't see a thing.
That's regrettable. I'd like to come face to face with one of these devilfish I've heard so much about. That can drag ships down to the depths, That go by the name of
Afraid
Kraken.
is more like it.
Krakens?
Nothing you say is going to convince me that such a creature exists.
Why not? We sincerely believed in the Master's narwhal.
And we were wrong, Conseil!
My friend, Captain Paul Wilson Pop, has often affirmed he has met one of these behemoths of colossal dimension in the Indian seas. They named the beast Boger's Cupfish.
Yeah? What length was it?
Did it not measure 6 yards?
Exactly.
Was its head crowned with 8 tentacles that beat the water like a nest of serpents?
Precisely.
And not its eyes, placed on the back of its head? Considerable development?
Yes.
And was its mouth like that of a parrot's beak?
What are you playing at, Conseil?
Well, if it isn't one of Boger's cuttlefish, it's at least one of his brothers.
Oh, look at them. Swarming out of their nest like a den of termites. There must be 30 of them.
What was that? Has the ship stopped moving?
I haven't the faintest idea. A curious collection of bulbs, don't you think?
Yes, Miss Naturalist, and we're going to go out and fight them, man to beast.
I'm sorry, man to beast.
Yes, the screw is stopped, and we believe the horny jaws of one of the cuttlefish is tangled in the blades. That is what prevents our moving.
What are you going to do?
Rise to the surface and slaughter the vermin. However, their soft flesh won't allow our electric bullets to be effective. It's no matter. We'll slaughter them with hatchets.
And the harpoon, sir, if you do not refuse my help,
I'll accept it.
we will follow.
John was their family. Their family. My captain had lost another of our family. And though I tried to console him that his actions saved countless others, he continued to weep. Continued to mourn the fallen man as though it were merely an extension of the loss he experienced so long ago in Fredericksburg. The look in his eye was akin to that man I had met then amidst the Civil War bloodshed. He became quiet, sullen, rejecting contact with any person on board the Nautilus. I kept the crew together and ran the ship to the best of my ability, but it was clear to all of us that at the heart of this great vessel was a great man. And without him, a void pulled at all of our souls. Then one day, without warning, he became obsessed with a calling. I recognized that glare in his temperament. He was going to heal his heart by exacting vengeance on the world above. Captain, we continue circling. Perhaps if you tell us what you're looking for, we can help.
Captain, I have the rudder set to circle the coordinates you have laid out, sir.
Good. Good. All stop! It's here.
What is here?
Dive in this Eden. Do not stray from this longitude or latitude.
Aye, sir.
Captain, what wonder are you to show us now?
Come with me. see that bulge on the bottom of the sea? That ruin enshrouded in a crust of white seashells, as if under a mantle of snow?
Yes. Looks to be the swollen outlines of a ship shorn of its masts. A ship that perhaps sunk bow first. The hold, it must be, caked with the limestone of these waters. Must have spent many a year on the ocean floor. What ship is this?
Originally, this ship was christened the Marseille. It carried 74 cannons and was launched in 1762. It had a long and remarkable life, as history reported, fighting battles and protecting French nationals. In the French Revolutionary War, her squadron fought an encounter with English vessels. Madam, 74 years ago to the day, at this very spot, this ship sank after a heroic battle. Its 3 masts gone, water in its hold, and a third of its crew out of action. But it preferred to go to the bottom with its 356 seamen rather than surrender. And so with its flag nailed up to the afterdeck, it disappeared beneath the waves to shouts of "Long live the Republic!"
This is the Avenger.
Yes, the Avenger. A splendid name. A mass execution of men dying for their doctrine.
Ma'am? 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 Ma'am?
Professor?
Ma'am?
Professor?
Ma'am? Oh, are you ill?
No. No, Conceal. Just sickened.
You seem to be rising quickly to the surface.
Professor, you have me worried. What has impacted you in such a manner?
That wreck on the bottom of the ocean is the Avenger. Captain Nemo brought us here to witness a wreckage of historic carnage. I fear he's become unhinged.
Well, at least if he does, it'll be out in the open air. And I, for one, am going to go enjoy some of it before our deranged captain sends us back to the depths.
Where did that sound come from?
That was the report of cannon. Look, out there, on the horizon.
What sort of craft is that?
It's hard to say, but from its low mast and its high rigging, I'd say it's a warship. Here's hoping it pulls up and sinks the damn Nautilus.
Can you make out what nation it's from?
No, she's flying no flag, but it's a warship, all right. See that long pettit streaming from its main mast?
Nick, if this ship approaches quickly enough...
If this ship gets within 2 miles of us, I'm leaping overboard and swimming for it. And I suggest that both of you do the same.
They're firing at us!
Some recognize the murderous narwhal and are working towards its destruction.
Surely they can see that there are men on deck.
Perhaps that's why they're firing at us.
The world must have learned by now that Nemo's creature is a man-made beast and not a narwhal. Captain Farragut and Abraham Lincoln likely knew that fact when they limped off in retreat. They don't know we fight the beast. They don't even know we're alive. I fear. No, I am confident that that warship is intent on destroying us.
No matter. That's our ticket out of here.
Hello! Over here! You fool! Do you wish to be pierced by the spear of the Nautilus before it is to be hurled at that vessel? Oh, ship of an accursed nation! You know who I am! I don't need your colors to know you by, but here! I'll show you my flag! The attack has begun! Go below! I intend to sink it, and I advise you not to judge me! Fate has shown you what you ought not to have seen! Go below!
What is that vessel?
You do not know? Strike, mad vessel! Shower your useless shot, and you would have escaped the spur of the Nautilus! But it is not on the surface that you will perish! You shall have your ruins mingled with those of the Avenger!
Please, sir, you cannot do this!
I am the law! I am the judge! I am the oppressed, and there is the oppressor! For I have lost all that I have loved, cherished, and venerated! Country, wife, children, father, and mother! I saw all of them perish, and all that I
do not know, but whatever it is, it will be sunk before night. We'd rather to perish with it than be accomplices in this retaliation, the justice of which we cannot judge.
I say we wait until nightfall. We'll leap from the deck and make our escape.
Night arrived, and there was a deep silence on board. The Nautilus was still on the surface and had not altered its course. As the warship grew closer, the Nautilus quickly put on speed and escaped the reaches of her cannon. It was a game where the predator was actually prey, with little knowledge of the fact. Ned had our party at the ready. If the ship got close enough, we would be off. But the game that Nemo was playing with the warship and his constant watch on the deck of the Nautilus soon made it clear that our time was not to come. When the familiar hissing sound that signaled our descent below the water came, we knew it was too late.
We were to attack the vessel below the waterline where her metal armor would not protect her. We felt the familiar shudder of the ship and then the impact, never as forceful as one would expect. Our spur drove smoothly and quickly through their hull. We could hear the secondary explosions as the powered guns rolled about on the deck of their doomed vessel. Our crew smiled with vengeance, but our captain did not. He disappeared from the triumphant bridge. Regrettably, it was obvious he was headed to talk to the professor, maybe to beg her, or the men he had just slain, or the gods themselves to be absolved of this act.
Look at them, clinging to the mast, pouring from her hold like a pile of writhing ants trying to escape the rushing waters. What chance does her dead crew have, drawn on her by the enemy from her sinking hull? You see, even the heavens are judging you, Nemo. You have offended the universe, but what do you care? You think sneaking below the waves will wash away your sins? Well, this blood is indelibly marked on your hands. I bear witness to that!
We must fly. I cannot bear to be complicit in these crimes any longer.
Professor, do you know where we are at?
I do not know what country we are near, but we were in sight of land when you sent those poor souls to their doom. A terrible storm is rolling in, and the land is distant enough. It's at least 10 miles, and a swim would be impossible.
Professor, unbeknownst to the crew, we have secured provisions for a journey on the skiff.
How would we launch?
I've stolen a wrench to loosen the bolts that hold the skiff to the Nautilus. When the time is right, we can escape.
Our course is set. We shall not see each other again until we are on board the skiff. So may luck be with you, my friends. Know that if I am found out, I will fight to the end, force them to kill me.
Us as well.
God! God! Almighty enough! Have I not given and taken all that is possible? Why do you vex me with such a nature?
Quickly, Conseil. Once we remove these bolts, our escape will be certain.
We're prisoners. I don't know if you're right here. We have to find them. Split up.
Have we been discovered?
Arm yourselves.
This may be our end. I'm tired.
Maelstrom!
No!
The mad captain has steered us off the coast of Norway. The waters between Lafayette and Faroe form a whirlpool, which no vessel can escape, nor cetacean, nor bear from the Northern Pole. The rocks on the bottom of that 12-mile pit will sacrifice us for certain.
If we stick to the side of the Nautilus, we may still be able to stop!
Hooray! No! Breathe faster! Breathe! Ah!
At that moment, our fragile escape vessel was ripped from the hull. The professor was thrown forward, mashing her head on a piece of metal, unconscious. My chair is correct. Ned and I held on, and somehow, by divine intervention, we were thrown clear of the vortex. I could see the Nautilus out of the small porthole, her screw in and out of the water as she rocked back and forth, fighting the mountains of water rushing towards the bottom of the pit. She disappeared before I could see what fate she met. Maybe they survived, or maybe the Nautilus was smashed to bits, leaving the waves to one day carry the manuscripts from Nemo's library, telling the world of the history of his life. We came ashore in Norway and told the people of our travels. We were not immediately able to journey to our home in France, forced to wait on a steamer that came by monthly. My dear professor took that opportunity to chronicle our voyage.
Pierrette, everything is just as how you've written it.
Will anyone believe me?
It doesn't matter. I attest that you, Conseil, and myself have the right to speak of the seas, in which less than 10 months we have traveled over 20,000 leagues, an underwater tour of the world.
It did reveal many wonders.
Wonders of man, the sea, and death, sought through retribution by a madman. Just hoping the Nautilus stays buried at the bottom of that 12-mile pit.
I agree with you, Ned, but not in whole. I hope that the judge and the murderer lay strewn upon the rocks, but that the philosopher and the explorer continue a peaceful voyage beneath the sea. This destiny is strange, it is also sublime. And to the question asked by Ecclesiastes 3,000 years ago, that which is far off and exceedingly deep, who can find out? Few now living have the answer, and they may be us. Simply us.
Everyone come in.